Tanya Hofmann's fabulous. Tanya Hofmann's fabulous. Tanya Hofmann's fabulous, fabulous TV show. Tanya.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I am so glad that you're back with us. I have an amazing show ready for you, and we're going to have fun just like we do every time. And Ms. Tamzin Cochrane's in the house too. Hey, Tamzin.
Morning, everyone.
She is amazing, as all of my incredible guests are. So professional and just fun. So we're going to have her come in just a minute. And I wanted to give you a little information today. And of course, I am Tanya Hofmann, and this is my TV show, my fabulous TV show. And it's about you and helping you make a difference in your life, because that's what it's about. And go out to help other people and make a difference in their lives. And we're going to have fun the whole time. So my tip for the day is, who are you in relation to other people? Now, that's a hard kind of philosophical thought process, because most people never think about who are they and how does that really impact them with others. What effect do you have on other people's lives? Because we all do. Even if we don't think it is, we really do. So when you look at your children, right, you're not just a mommy or an aunt or, you know, whatever you are. You have incredible impact on that person for their entire life. And it's your responsibility not to forget that you are part of their life. If you have clients, you have incredible opportunity to have incredible impact on their life forever. And it's not about getting, you know, a lot of people are like, well, I never did get credit. I helped that person become this, or I helped that person figure out that. And I'm like, that's fantastic, but get over it. That is what you're there for, is to have impact. And I see that a lot of people, what happens to them is they don't have impact. And that's what keeps them kind of in the closet and in the background. So I want you to think about that today and go, how can I have incredible impact on everybody, on my husband, my wife, you know, whoever is in your life? How can I give true value to them? And that's why I wanted to bring Tamzin in, because she, oh my goodness, you're just going to absolutely love her. She's got the best English accent. I don't know how she got that. She's going to tell us. So Tamzin, tell us a little bit about you and who you are.
Good morning. Yes, I do have an English accent, that is for sure. I live in Austin, Texas now, but we moved here in '08 from England. So we have been here now, ever it is, 7 years. Absolutely love it, love the weather. Having grown up in England and all the cold winters, thoroughly enjoy that I can wear open-toe shoes all year round in Austin.
See, these are things that we never even think about, you know? I couldn't even imagine not wearing open-toe shoes.
I know. It gets pretty cold in Britain, actually, and amazingly wet and really windy. So Austin is, it's a joy. It's a joy.
Nice. So what brought you over to America, and you know, what have you found, especially because I know you love food and you are great at cooking and everything. What has kind of been the hardest and the easiest transition?
Well, I think the hardest transition actually sometimes are the small things, like a language barrier. People do not realize that American English and British English are totally different. So I trip up all the time. And those are things that you don't expect. You're having a conversation with somebody, and I could be talking about a holiday, meaning vacation, and they are thinking I'm talking about a set day that is off. It's just a perception on a word. So we could have it on a pants. You say pants, that's trousers. That doesn't work in Britain, okay? There are undergarments. So it's very difficult to make that transition. And then bring it to food, which I'm passionate about, and cooking. You say zucchini and we say courgette. And it's just some totally different words out there. Or the same word just said differently. We say oregano and you say oregano. So it takes time when you first arrive to tune the ears into what was that? Basil and basil. And you're like, pardon? So it's fun. It's fun. But that's been definitely one of the hardest transitions. The weather is one of the easiest. People often say to me, don't you hate the 100-degree days? I've had a weather alert this morning telling me the heat index today and getting worse over the weekend will be about 107. No, folks, I do not mind the heat. I grew up in Scotland and England. I love skiing. I love the cold now and again. But when you're out in it every day, getting to work, doing the school runs, doing the shopping, it is so easy every day just to be in a sundress, open-toe shoes, and never thinking. I only think about wearing a cardigan, not even a coat, a cardigan if I'm going to the cinema or movies, because they're going to have the AC so low. That's the only time I worry about it.
I know. I tell people all the time, it is colder in Texas in the summer than it is during the winter because the ACs are all cranked up so high.
They are. They really are. You go to a restaurant and you actually take a cardigan. That is always amusing to me. That's very amusing.
Exactly. Well, I know that we've had so many great discussions, and Tamzin is just a dear friend. I just adore her. And she really has this ability to help people bring food into their lives. And I always think that's interesting because for me, I'm always like, oh, if they could just make a peel that I could just take and not have to eat, that would be so nice. But, you know, there's people like Tamzin that really do love actual cooking. And I would love to learn because I think it sounds like it would be a lot of fun. And I know that you have an amazing ability to bring children in to get them to eat different things. How do you do that?
Well, I think I love food anyway. I love the color, the texture, the feel of it. And I think if you can connect children to the food, they'll eat the food. And I've always done that. My children all started cooking before they were, I mean, I have pictures of Alexander, he's now 14. And at the time he was most probably about 18 months old. He's in my mum's arms and he's stirring the Christmas pudding because we always do that. Everybody stirs it and makes a wish at Christmas. But, you know, you get them involved with food really young, you know, helping, doing. My children, we like soup, fresh bread and soup, as an example. And all I will say to them is, what color soup do you want today? They'll give me a color. They don't care what vegetables are going into it. We'll just do it on color. So we keep it simple, we keep it fun, and we keep it fresh. And for me, it's a family activity. The children are there, or they're in the kitchen, or they're buying the vegetables at the store and say, Mum, make a soup out of that. Let's see what we think, you know. And maybe while we're tasting it, we go, oh, that's a little bland. Why don't we add some curry powder in? Or, oh, let's put some tomato paste in. But they'll taste it. Their thought process is still running. So I don't think there's any barriers with them. There's food they don't like. They don't like the texture of mushrooms. Neither of them do yet. My older two didn't used to. They love mushrooms now. But I don't stop using them. I just say your taste buds keep developing. You need to just try again. They'll try. So for us, it's a family activity, planning the meals for the week. Everybody in the house gets to choose one meal a week. I choose what day I'm doing it on because, you know, I know my schedule. I don't get to choose the day. And, of course, that leaves me choosing the majority of the meals, which also helps. But they get this total input. And I think for us as a family, every night we sit down together and eat. I think that's big. The fact that they've helped and chosen is big. And maybe you don't like the meal tonight, but everyone's got to eat the meal you chose. So you will have the courtesy to eat the meal they chose. So that works. So,
yeah, I love that. You know, 'cause for me, I've always had my children a part of my business. And I think it's just about bringing them in to whatever you're doing, you know, even if it's, you know, whatever. So if it's cooking, if it's cleaning, if it's whatever it is, are they there? And so many people, their whole life is separated from their children. You know, you're either in their world or they're in yours, instead of saying, let's combine it and have you a part of every experience.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Our children are really involved in everything and anything we do. Even if we're out in the back garden and I'm gardening, I grow my own tomatoes and peppers, and I'm just building up a citrus orchard. I'm now up to 7 trees in it. You know, I'm adding fruit trees. They're involved in all of that and research on, well, how do we do that? You know, because we don't have citrus trees per se in Britain. So it's fun. We're doing it together, and I think that's exactly what you're saying. It's that connection, the family time, and they see a whole different world. Which is
and you know, and I even, like, the other day, my niece was down spending some time with us, and she's wanting to start her first business. She's 14. She doesn't know what to do, you know, so I'm giving her advice. And I happen to have a meeting with one of the top, you know, speakers in the world. And I'm like, you need to come to this meeting. And she's like, you know, what am I going to do? I'm saying, you're going to sit there and absorb. You know, you're just going to hear the words that we use, so that, you know, it's not a foreign word. And then you can ask questions, you know. And she did. She sat there. She was very polite, listened. You know, some things went over her head, but it was okay. You know, it's still that she was there and involved and got a perspective that she probably would have never had. So just the same thing with cooking. Are you bringing your kids into the kitchen and then teaching them how to do things, you know? And I've got to ask you about that pudding stirring thing. So I have never heard of that tradition before. You stir the pudding and then you make a wish?
Yes, at Christmas, that's very traditional. So with a Christmas pudding, you know, obviously getting all the ingredients in there, and then everybody will stir it, and you make a wish silently. You know, wishes don't come true if you say them out loud, you know. So you stir the pudding, and then once the mixture's all stirred, you're going to put it into the pudding basins, and I'm going to wrap it up, and we're going to boil it in water for 3 to 4 hours, and then your pudding's ready. We actually make them, or I'll make them, around October time, and I'll actually boil them for about 2 hours, and then I keep them in my fridge, and they will stay there quite happily. And then on Christmas Day, and anyone I give them puddings to, they would boil them again for another 2 hours, which is easy to do because you're eating your other meal and prepping things anyway. And then it's ready, and we serve it traditionally with brandy butter or brandy cream, and it's really nice.
I've never heard of boiling pudding. I mean, I make banana pudding, and it just takes like 30 minutes. So I can't even imagine boiling. I don't even understand what you just said.
Okay, I can see this Christmas I'm going to have to give you a Christmas pudding.
Yeah.
You can have a touch of Britain.
Thing that you have to cook for so long. That doesn't even make any sense. And I'll have to make you some traditional homemade banana pudding sometime. Num num.
Okay. Sounds fine. Sounds fine.
I mean, this is what I think is amazing, because when I go anywhere in the world, you know, or even in Texas or across the U.S., you find such different types of food that people just, it's just part of what they always eat. And to you, it's like, you know, here he is. You know, you've done pudding probably your whole life and can't even imagine not knowing anything about pudding.
Yeah, and you're right. I've picked up recipes since I've been in Texas that I love. And we, you know, some simple ones like tortillas, I just chop them up into 6 triangles, shallow fry them ever so quickly and toss them in some cinnamon sugar. And that's how I use up my leftover tortillas now. I would have never have thought of that in Britain. But here that's just, you know, and of course they don't cost hardly anything. They're more expensive in Britain. They're not an everyday item, if you like. So it's really, really easy to do. So you pick up recipes wherever you go. I love fajitas now. I can do fajitas for dinner. And that's one of the things my children would choose now, actually. And I love that because that's lots of fresh things, you know, from your making your guacamole or your salsa or serving it with salad. It's all fresh, which I'm a huge, huge fan of. And actually it's quick and simple and so flavoursome. And the different colours, the different textures, everything on your palate. I mean, it's just one of those meals that everybody chats and eats and enjoys and mulls over. So.
Yeah, we do quite a bit of fajitas. It's one of those easy, you just quickly make things and it just kind of comes together and people just kind of dig into what they want. And I find that, and maybe you could even address this, is everyone has such different taste buds. It's hard for me to seem like find something that everybody would want to eat. And fajitas is great because they can actually build what they want, put in it what they want. How do you usually handle with all these different taste buds during a meal?
Well, for my children, I firmly believe they need to try everything anyway. Once they leave home, make your choices. But you're in this house, we will do that. I never over-season anything. I believe people should add it afterwards. They want a bit more ground pepper or salt. Because I now live in Texas, I do keep hot sauce on my table always with my condiments, which is quite funny. And I watch people put hot sauce on things I would never think to put hot sauce on. But that's a preference. And I think, we always have Worcester sauce out. We like putting that on, risotto or the odd thing. So you can alter a flavor just using condiments on the table for people's own individual sort of little how they wish it. But I make sure when I'm looking at a meal that I'm planning that as long as I've got different textures and I've got different colors coming in and the varieties there, generally speaking, it's that whole mixture that they're going to put into their mouth that actually works. And they just roll.
Nice.
And I think the meal is a family time. It isn't, a fast thing. So we're sitting there and we're all talking. So you're not focused on the food. It's part of the whole chatting and what's going on and things. So once again, you don't worry about everybody's individual flavors.
Perfect. Yeah. Do you two find, every time I think of England and I talk to people, they're like, oh, the food is so awful. Is it really that awful? Because I haven't actually experienced England yet. So What are they talking about when they say things like that?
Well, one of the, a couple of comments here. So Alex gets teased at school frequently that all we do in England is boil things, which is quite interesting because we do boil a number of dishes and yes, we boil them, but you're not actually always boiling. Like a Christmas pudding is in a basin. It's the heat coming through and the moisture there, but it's all on the outside. So it's just another way to cook something, really. And I would say to many Texans, our food maybe does taste more bland. But my argument back is you don't know what you're eating in half your flavors because you've smothered it with hot sauce or loads of chilies, so it works both ways. So as long as you take the food and enjoy it and then tweak it with condiments to maybe your own palate, you're good to go. We have a huge variety of food. We have many traditional. People love coming to Sunday lunch here because I'm still quite a traditionalist on Sunday should be, a roast. I love doing roasts. And then that's, roasting a great big hunk of meat, be it lamb, which would be my favorite, or beef, which would be my son Jack's favorite, and then it's the roast potatoes and the roast parsnips and then a couple of other veg, whichever ones we've chosen, and Yorkshire puddings. They love it. People love it. I have children turning up at my door at what I would say is tea time, dinner time, supper time, all these different things, but at the same time, really. And they knock on my door and I'll say, oh, the boys can't play right now. And they went, I know, we came for dinner. Come on in. And it's really quite funny. People like just sitting down. So people continually tell me that they love my cooking, which is one reason why I've started doing all this cooking here on more of a business level. So the cooking in England can't be that bad.
Right. I love that. Now, I know because you've got a wealth of knowledge on recipes and things like that. And I know you're going to be giving away something amazing to everybody today. What is that?
Well, if you go to my website, the Fabulous Kitchen Coach, because I know you can all see I'm fabulous here, and sign up, and you will get a exclusive weekly recipe. Now, I do not put that recipe onto my website. It is only for those that sign up. And to date, they've always been very seasonal as well. I am actually keeping them in line with where we're at, so you can actually make it with fresh produce as well if you wish to. It'll obviously work all year, but it's just fantastic. So go and get that free recipe. It's exclusive to those that sign up, and it's just, they're always simple recipes. You'll enjoy doing them, and you can use them for so many different things. They're delicious. They're delicious.
Nice. Okay, so it's thefabulous.kitchencoach.com.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Perfect. All right, everybody. And I know I want to emphasize to bring Tamzin in to speak at your next event. If you're needing someone to do, she could probably even do like some little kitchen thing, a little recipe right in front of people. That would be fun. But get connected with her. So the easiest way to find out all of her information is go to the website, publicspeakersassociation.com. Under speaker search, you can just put in Tamzin, and she says, how do you say your name when you tell people to spell it?
I have no sins, only zins. So Tamzin.
I love it. So go to there, just punch in Tamzin and in the search bar, and you'll be able to pull up her profile, and you'll be able to see pictures of her and all of her contact information, and you can immediately book her to speak at your next event. Also, if you're interested, we would love for you to be a part of the Public Speakers Association, because we have so much fun, and it's all about you and getting you out there, getting your name known and your message heard, and to go out there and change lives and make money while you do it. We love that. So how much fun can you have? It's up to you. And it's about time that you start having a lot of amazing experiences and opportunities that you didn't even think was possible, because you didn't even know it was even existing. I know, I never even heard that there were speakers, until just a few years back. I was like, oh my gosh, you mean you can be a speaker? And then when I realized it, I was like, this is brilliant. I absolutely adore it. My life has been so enriched by the people I get to meet. And that's what I want you to have. And that's the experiences that I want you to have. So you can go out and you can meet Tamzin. You can meet all these amazing people that I bring on my show all the time. You should be reaching out, finding them on social media, finding them on their website, getting connected to them. That is what it's about. It's not just watching and watching, oh, that's really good, but actually communicating and getting to know people. So always reach out and say hi to me, say hi to Tamzin. So I am so excited that you were on today, and make sure you're back. Take advantage of her newsletter, because who doesn't want fabulous, simple recipes that you're going to love to eat? I'm signing up today. So make sure you jump in on that. So thank you, Tamzin, for being on. We definitely want you to come back and give us some more great info.
Thank you very much. I've had a really fantastic time, Tonya. So thanks very much.
Perfect. All right, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye. Bye, Tamzin.